Chosen one. It's 3:33 inches the morning, and you're awake again. Not because you want to be, not because you set an alarm, but because something woke you up. Something you can't explain. Something that's been happening too many times lately for it to be a coincidence. The house is dead quiet. The only light in the room is that cold blue glow from the clock on your nightstand. 3:33 a.m. Your body's tired, your bones ache, your mind's heavy with questions that have no answers. And your heart is asking the same thing it's been asking for months, maybe years. God, how much longer? Let me tell you something that's going to shake you tonight. Heaven doesn't wake you up at 3:33 a.m. by accident. That's not insomnia. That's not your medication. That's not old age. That's a divine alarm clock. And tonight, right now, heaven is not turning the page on your story anymore. Heaven is closing the test. The test is over, chosen one. At 3:33 a.m., your file just hit the top of heaven's desk. Your name just got called in the throne room. And what I'm about to show you in this message is going to change everything you thought you knew about why you've suffered so long. Listen to me carefully. If you've been tested in your health, if the doctors keep saying things you don't want to hear, if you've been tested in your finances, if you're on a fixed income and the bills don't care, if you've been tested in your family, if the people you raised don't call anymore, if you've cried in the dark where nobody saw you, if you've whispered prayers that felt like they hit the ceiling and fell back down, this is your word. Before this video ends, I'm going to show you 3 undeniable signs that your test is officially over. And I'm going to tell you what your golden throne actually means in your real life. Not some fairy tale, but what God is about to do in your bank account, in your body, in your family, starting right now. But first, I need you to do something. If something in your spirit deep down where only you and God can hear, if something already knows this message has your name on it, I want you to stop right now, go to the comments, and type these 5 words. 3:33. I receive my golden throne. That's your first act of faith tonight. Type it now. You know what nobody tells you when you get older? That life isn't just happening to you. It's happening for you. All those years you thought you were just getting beat up by circumstances. All those mornings you woke up wondering why nothing ever gets easier. All those nights you sat in that chair alone, asking God if he forgot your address. What if I told you none of that was random? What if every single one of those hard seasons was heaven putting you through an exam you didn't even know you were taking? Listen to me, chosen one. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared. Let me paint you a picture. You're in your 70s now, maybe your 80s. You've buried people you loved. You've sat in hospital waiting rooms at 2 a.m., wondering if you'd make it home. You've opened bills that made your stomach drop because the number was bigger than what's left in your account at the end of the month. You've watched your children make choices you warned them about. You've seen your grandkids grow up on screens instead of Sunday dinners. You've felt the sting of being forgotten when the family group chat goes silent, when the phone doesn't ring on your birthday, when the world acts like wisdom died at age 35. And you thought that was just life being cruel. But heaven saw something else. Heaven saw character being forged. See, in heaven's classroom, the tests don't look like tests. They look like tragedies. They look like betrayals. They look like doctor's appointments that change everything. They feel like pop quizzes from hell that you never signed up for. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. Every single one of those moments was God asking a question. When your body broke down and the pain wouldn't stop, God was asking, will you still trust me when comfort is gone? When the money ran out and you didn't know how you'd make it through the month, God was asking, will you still believe I'm your provider when the bank says no? When loneliness wrapped around you like a cold blanket after your spouse went home to glory, God was asking, Will you still talk to me when the house is silent? When your own kids walked away from everything you taught them, when they stopped coming to church, stopped praying, stopped calling, God was asking, will you still stand for righteousness even when your own bloodline turns their back? You passed, beloved. You didn't know it, but you passed. The Bible says in 1 Peter 1-7, these trials will show that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold. You've been in the fire, chosen one. And you're still here. You're still breathing. You're still believing. You're still waking up at 3:33 a.m. with God on your mind. That's not weakness. That's gold coming out of the furnace. Think about Abraham. God told that old man to pack up everything at 75 years old and move to a place he'd never seen, tested him for decades, made him wait 25 years for the son he promised. And then this is the part that'll wreck you, asked him to give that son back on an altar. Abraham passed. Think about Job. Lost everything in one day, his kids, his wealth, his health. Sat in ashes, scraping his skin with broken pottery, and still said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Job passed. Think about Israel in the wilderness, 40 years of testing, 40 years of manna every single morning, 40 years of, do you trust me today? And the ones who kept believing, they made it to the promised land. They passed. Now let me ask you something, and I want you to answer this honestly in your heart. How many tests have you passed that nobody ever gave you credit for? How many mornings did you get up when your body said stay down? How many times did you forgive when bitterness would have been easier? How many prayers did you pray in the dark when quitting would have made more sense? Heaven's been keeping score, beloved. And tonight, at 3:33 a.m., your test results just came back from the throne room. Passed. See, what you didn't know is that every test you went through was preparing you for something so big that if God gave it to you before the testing, it would have destroyed you. You couldn't carry a golden throne on a broken character. You couldn't sit in authority without being tested in humility first. You couldn't steward a supernatural blessing without learning to trust God in supernatural lack. The test wasn't about making you suffer. The test was about making you ready. And now heaven is done testing. Now heaven is measuring you for something you've never worn before. In just a moment, I'm going to show you the exact moment, the precise instant, when heaven stamps your test paper with that blood-red seal that says passed, and what happens in the invisible realm when your golden throne starts being prepared. But before we go there, I need you to do something. If this message is already hitting home, if you're sitting there right now and your spirit is saying, this is me, this is my life, these were my tests, then don't watch this alone. Send this video to that one person you know who's been under non-stop testing, the one who's been in the fire so long they forgot what cool air feels like, the one who needs to hear tonight that their test is over. Because what I'm about to show you next isn't just information, it's activation. And the question heaven is asking right now is this: are you ready to step into what you've been tested for? Now let me tell you something they don't preach about in most churches anymore. There were days it felt like God was silent and hell was loud. I need you to hear me on this, because the enemy has been playing mind games with you for years, and tonight we're shutting that down. There's a difference between a divine test and a demonic attack. And you need to know which one you've been walking through, because if you don't understand the difference, you'll misinterpret everything God's been doing. Listen closely. God's tests refine you. They grow you. They reveal what's actually inside you. They squeeze you so the real gold comes to the surface. When God tests you, He's standing right there with His hand on the thermostat, controlling exactly how hot it gets. He never leaves. He's watching you like a master jeweler watches the fire, waiting for his reflection to appear in you. The enemy's attacks? They're designed to shame you, to condemn you, to convince you that you're worthless, forgotten, and that even God Himself walked away. The devil doesn't refine, he tries to destroy. He whispers lies in your ear when you're at your weakest. If God loved you, you wouldn't be here. If you were really chosen, this wouldn't be happening to you. And chosen one, I need you to know something tonight. You weren't crazy. You were targeted. When they walked out on you, when your own children stopped calling, when the friends you had for decades suddenly acted like you didn't exist, the enemy whispered in your ear, "See, even God walked away." But that's a lie straight from the pit of hell. When you sat in that hospital waiting room alone, with test results you were terrified to hear, and nobody showed up, the enemy said, "You're forgotten. You're too old. You don't matter anymore." That was a lie. God was standing over that test the entire time. He was watching you like a loving teacher watches a student take the final exam, not because he doesn't care, but because he knows you're about to graduate and he can't help you anymore. You have to pass this on your own, so the degree has your name on it. James 1:2-4 says, "Count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing." Did you catch that? Lacking nothing. God doesn't test you to break you. He tests you to complete you. But here's what the enemy does. He takes that same season of testing and tries to add his voice to it. God allows the pressure. The devil adds the lie. God allows the loneliness. The devil whispers, "You're abandoned." God allows the financial strain. The devil says, "You're cursed." Two voices, one season. And you've been listening to the wrong one. Let me tell you about a woman I knew years ago. 82 years old, husband died. Kids moved across the country. She lived alone in a small apartment in Queens. Every morning, she'd sit at her kitchen table with her Bible and a cup of coffee that had gone cold because she'd spent 2 hours crying instead of drinking it. She told me, "I don't understand why God brought me this far just to forget about me." But here's what she didn't know. While she was sitting in that apartment and feeling forgotten, God was orchestrating something in her family 3 states away. Her grandson hadn't spoken to her in 7 years, was in the middle of a divorce, lost his job, struggling with depression, and on the edge of ending his life. One night, at 3:33 a.m., he woke up out of nowhere, and the only person he felt he could call was her, the grandmother he'd ignored for 7 years. Listen closely. God's tests refine you. They grow you. They reveal what's actually inside you. They squeeze you so the real gold comes to the surface. When God tests you, He's standing right there with His hand on the thermostat, controlling exactly how hot it gets. He never leaves. He's watching you like a master jeweler watches the fire, waiting for his reflection to appear in you. The enemy's attacks? They're designed to shame you, to condemn you, to convince you that you're worthless, forgotten, and that even God Himself walked away. The devil doesn't refine, he tries to destroy. He whispers, lies in your ear when you're at your weakest. If God loved you, you wouldn't be here. If you were really chosen, this wouldn't be happening to you. And chosen one, I need you to know something tonight. You weren't crazy. You were targeted. When they walked out on you, when your own children stopped calling, when the friends you had for decades suddenly acted like you didn't exist, the enemy whispered in your ear, "See, even God walked away." But that's a lie straight from the pit of hell. When you sat in that hospital waiting room alone, with test results you were terrified to hear, and nobody showed up, the enemy said, "You're forgotten. You're too old. You don't matter anymore." That was a lie. God was standing over that test the entire time. He was watching you like a loving teacher watches a student take the final exam, not because he doesn't care, but because he knows you're about to graduate and he can't help you anymore. You have to pass this on your own, so the degree has your name on it. James 1:2-4 says, "Count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Did you catch that? Lacking nothing. God doesn't test you to break you. He tests you to complete you. But here's what the enemy does. He takes that same season of testing and tries to add his voice to it. God allows the pressure. The devil adds the lie. God allows the loneliness. The devil whispers, "You're abandoned." God allows the financial strain. The devil says, "You're cursed." Two voices, one season, and you've been listening to the wrong one. Let me tell you about a woman I knew years ago. 82 years old. Husband died. Kids moved across the country. She lived alone in a small apartment in Queens. Every morning she'd sit at her kitchen table with her Bible and a cup of coffee that had gone cold because she'd spent 2 hours crying instead of drinking it. She told me, "I don't understand why God brought me this far just to forget about me." But here's what she didn't know. While she was sitting in that apartment feeling forgotten, God was orchestrating something in her family 3 states away. Her grandson hadn't spoken to her in 7 years, was in the middle of a divorce, lost his job, struggling with depression, and on the edge of ending his life. One night, at 3:33 a.m., he woke up out of nowhere, and the only person he felt he could call was her, the grandmother he'd ignored for 7 years. That phone call saved his life, and it became the beginning of the greatest spiritual legacy that family had ever seen. 3 generations came back to God because of what happened in her living room over the next 6 months. She thought she was abandoned. God was positioning her for the most important assignment of her life. You see, chosen one, the test wasn't just about you. It was about who you were becoming for someone else. God had to isolate you. He had to strip away the noise. He had to put you in a place where you had nothing left but Him, because the person you're about to help needs someone who knows what it's like to have nothing left but Him. Your pain has a purpose. Your isolation had an assignment attached to it. And your 3:33 a.m. wake-up calls, those weren't torture, that was training. Job 23:10 says, "But He knows the way that I take. When He has tested me, I shall come forth as gold." Not silver, not bronze, gold, the kind that gets put on a throne. Now here's what I need you to understand before we move forward. Once you're seated on that golden throne, and I'm going to tell you exactly what that means. In part 7, you're not going to be the same person anymore. You're not going to think the same, talk the same, or respond to life the same. There's a version of you that's about to emerge that even you don't recognize yet, and it's going to shock the people who thought you were finished. But right now, I need you to do something. If you've ever said, "God, where are you?" in the middle of your darkest hour, if you've ever felt completely alone, abandoned, forgotten, I want you to go to the comments right now and write 4 words. I wasn't alone. Let's expose that lie together. Let the enemy see that his whispers didn't work. Type it now, I wasn't alone. Because here's the truth, beloved. God never left. He was preparing you. And the test? The test is over. Now it's time to see what you've become. There's a reason some of you keep waking up around that hour. Not always 3:33 on the dot. Sometimes it's 2:47. Sometimes it's 4:11. But it's always that deep night hour when the world's asleep and it's just you, your thoughts, and God. You lie there in the dark. The silence is so thick you can hear your own heartbeat, and every worry you push down during the day comes crawling back up. The doctor's appointment, the unpaid bill, the child who won't return your calls, the loneliness that sits on your chest like a weight, and you wonder if God even sees you anymore. Let me tell you something that's going to change how you see those sleepless nights forever. Heaven doesn't sleep. Psalm 121:4 says, "He who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep." While you're lying there feeling forgotten, heaven is wide awake. And 3:33 the morning, that's when heaven starts its night shift. You see, there's something about the number 3 in Scripture that heaven keeps whispering to us. 3 days in the tomb before resurrection. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, 3 in 1. 3 times Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" 3 times Peter denied him. 3 times Jesus restored him. 3 isn't just a number. It's a divine signature. It's heaven's way of saying, we're all here, all of us, Father, Son, and Spirit, right here in the exam room with you. Because that's what your life has been, hasn't it? An exam room. You've been on the table. The lights have been bright and harsh. And you've been poked and prodded and tested in ways you never thought you could survive. Your health failed when you thought you still had good years left. Your savings dried up when you thought you'd built something secure. Your family scattered when you thought blood was thicker than water. And every single time you fell to your knees asking God why, it felt like your prayers bounced off the ceiling and landed right back in your lap. But here's what you didn't see. Every tear you cried at 3:33 a.m. collected. Psalm 56:8 says God keeps them in a bottle. Every groan you couldn't even put into words. Romans 8:26 says the Spirit translates them. Every night you thought you were alone, Matthew 28:20 says, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. You weren't abandoned. You were being watched. There's your clock. And then there's heaven's clock. Your clock says it's been too long. Your clock says you're too old now. Your clock says the best years are behind you, and all you've got left is to hang on and try not to be a burden. But heaven's clock? Heaven's clock says something completely different. Heaven's clock says Moses was 80 when God called him to lead a nation. Abraham was 100 when the promise finally showed up. Sarah was 90 when she laughed at God and then gave birth anyway. Anna was 84 when she saw the Messiah with her own eyes and became a prophet in the temple. Heaven's clock doesn't run on your timeline, it runs on divine appointment. And 3:33 a.m. is heaven's way of syncing your broken heart with its perfect rhythm. You think those sleepless nights are punishment. I'm telling you tonight they're preparation. Because here's what happens when the test is over. Here's what happens when heaven closes your file and stamps it approved. Here's what happens at 3:33 a.m. when the Father leans over to the Son and says, it's time. They've passed. Prepare the throne. The angels that have been watching you struggle, they get new assignments, not to test you anymore, but to escort you. Not to see how much you can take, but to see how much you can carry when the floodgates open. The prayers you prayed 5 years ago that seemed to disappear into thin air. They didn't disappear. They've been circling heaven like planes waiting for clearance to land. And at 3:33 a.m., the tower just said, you're cleared. All of them. Bring them in. The enemy that's been whispering, you're too old, you're too broke, you're too forgotten. At 3:33 a.m., heaven issues a restraining order, a divine gag order, and that voice that's been tormenting you for years, it goes silent. Not because you got stronger, but because heaven just changed your address. You're not in the wilderness anymore, chosen one. You're at the palace gates. In just a moment, I'm going to walk you step by step through what heaven does, the exact moment your test is declared over. You're going to feel it in your spirit. You're going to recognize yourself in this word, and you're going to understand why everything you lost had to be lost, so you could receive what's about to be given. But right now, I need you to do something. Next time you wake up in the middle of the night, don't just roll over. Don't just turn on the TV. Don't just lie there drowning in worry. Whisper this: Lord, what are you saying? Because if heaven is waking you up at that hour, it's not to torment you, it's to talk to you. It's to give you intel nobody else is getting. It's to download instructions for what's coming next. Your sleepless nights aren't a curse, they're a briefing. So here's my question for you tonight. What if every time you woke up at 3:33, heaven was actually checking your pulse to make sure you were ready for resurrection? Now let me take you somewhere most preachers won't take you. There's a place in heaven most people don't talk about. It's not the streets of gold. It's not the pearly gates. It's quieter than that, more intimate than that. It's the file room. And tonight, chosen one, your file is open. Not the file of your failures. Not the record of every time you messed up or fell short or said the wrong thing. No, this is the file of your faithfulness. And what's written in there is going to shake you to your core. Because God has been keeping track of something you thought didn't matter. Let me tell you what's in that file. There's a record of that Tuesday afternoon when your sister said something cruel to you at the family dinner. And you bit your tongue. You swallowed the hurt. You forgave her even though she never said she was sorry. You thought nobody saw that. Heaven logged it. There's a notation from that Sunday morning when the offering plate came around and you only had $20 left until your Social Security check came in on Wednesday. But you put $10 in anyway because the Spirit nudged you. You ate less that week. You didn't tell anyone. You thought it didn't count because it wasn't a big check. Heaven counted it. There's a timestamp from 2 a.m. on a night 5 years ago when you couldn't sleep because your son wasn't speaking to you. And you got on your knees in the dark and prayed for him, even though he hadn't called you in months. Even though he acted like you didn't exist. You prayed anyway. Heaven recorded every word. Do you understand what I'm telling you? You thought those moments disappeared into thin air. You thought your faithfulness in the small things, in the hidden things, in the painful things nobody saw, you thought it evaporated. It didn't. This is the part that's going to shock you. God counted what you thought didn't count. That quiet yes you whispered in the dark when God asked you to let go of someone you loved. Heaven noticed. That moment you chose peace over being right, filed. That time you paid a bill for someone and never mentioned it again, documented. Every single tear you cried when you thought you were crying alone, bottled. Psalm 56:8 says, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." Let that sink in. God didn't just see your tears. He collected them like they were precious, like they had value, like they were currency in a kingdom economy you didn't even know was operating. And tonight, at 3:33 a.m., heaven is cashing them in. I want to talk to the one who spent 10 years in what felt like a silent prison. Maybe it was a marriage that died slowly. Maybe it was a sickness that wouldn't break. Maybe it was a financial hole you couldn't climb out of no matter how hard you tried. Maybe it was watching your kids make decisions that broke your heart and you couldn't do anything but pray. 10 years, maybe more. And the whole time, you wondered if God forgot about you. You wondered if you did something wrong. You wondered if maybe you weren't chosen after all. Let me tell you something that's going to bring you to tears. Heaven wasn't ignoring you during those 10 years. Heaven was documenting you. Every moment of faithfulness when you had every reason to quit. Every time you said yes when your flesh wanted to say, "I'm done." Every prayer you prayed when it felt like the ceiling was made of concrete. God was building a case file, not against you, for you. And now, the judge of heaven is about to issue a verdict that will make sense of decades. Romans 8:18 says, "For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is to be revealed to us." Read that again. Not worth comparing. That means what's coming is so big, so overwhelming, so beyond what you've been through, that when you look back, you're going to say, "God, it was worth it. Every tear, every test, every sleepless night, it was worth it." But here's what most people miss. The glory isn't just coming in heaven someday. It's coming now, in your real life, in ways that will touch your bank account, your body, your family, your peace of mind. Because God doesn't just pay you back in feelings, He pays you back in manifestations. And the payment is about to drop. I need you to do something right now. Don't skip this. If you feel something stirring in your chest, if there's a tightness, a release, a knowing, I want you to put your hand right there on your heart and just whisper this. God, thank you for remembering me. Say it out loud if you're alone. Whisper it if someone's in the room, but say it. Because the next thing I'm about to show you is going to prove that God didn't just remember you. He's been preparing something so specific, so perfectly timed, that when it shows up, you're going to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this was always the plan. There comes a night, a moment, when heaven looks down at your file, sees every tear you've cried, every bill you couldn't pay, every diagnosis you've endured, every family member who turned their back on you. And God says one word, enough. The test is over. And the same God who watched you in the valley, who let you walk through fire until the dross burned away, who allowed you to be pressed until everything fake fell off, that same God now starts arranging the stage for your elevation. Not tomorrow, not next year, tonight. At 3:33 a.m., when the rest of the world is asleep and the veil between heaven and earth is thinnest, the angels receive new orders. Build the throne, not a throne of wood, not a throne of gold you can touch with your hands, but a spiritual throne of authority, dignity, honor, and divine positioning that changes how heaven sees you, how hell responds to you, and how life itself bends to your words. Let me tell you what a golden throne actually means for someone who's been through what you've been through. You've sat in too many waiting rooms, haven't you? Waiting for the doctor to finally see you. Waiting for the Social Security office to call your number. Waiting for your kids to remember you exist. Waiting for someone, anyone, to treat you like you still matter. Those hard plastic chairs, those fluorescent lights, that feeling of being just another number in a system that doesn't care if you live or die. God says, I'm moving you from the waiting room to the throne room. Do you hear me? From folding chair to king's chair. From invisible to unforgettable. From powerless to positioned. The golden throne is not fantasy. It's not religious decoration. It's a shift in your spiritual location that manifests in your natural reality. When Job's test was over, the Bible says in Job 42:10, the Lord restored Job's losses when he prayed for his friends. Indeed, the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. Twice as much. Not the same. Not barely surviving. Twice. But here's what most people miss. Before the restoration came the repositioning. Before Job got his wealth back, God shifted Job from defendant to intercessor, from the one being questioned to the one with answers, from victim to voice. That's the throne. You see, a throne isn't just somewhere you sit. A throne is where decisions are made, where decrees are issued, where battles are won before they're even fought. And God is about to give you something you haven't had in years. Authority, not to control people, not to be proud, but authority to speak to your body and watch it obey. Authority to speak to your bank account and watch provision show up. Authority to speak to your bloodline and break every curse that's been riding your family name for generations. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. You're 60, 70, maybe 80 years old. The world looks at you and sees someone past their prime, someone who should just sit down, be quiet, take your pills, and wait to die. But God is saying, I saved your greatest assignment for your final season. Moses was 80 when God called him to deliver an entire nation. Abraham was 100 when Isaac was born. Anna, the prophetess, was 84 when she prophesied over baby Jesus and became part of the gospel story forever. Your age is not a disqualification. Your age is your authority. Every year you've survived is a stripe on your spiritual uniform. Every battle you've endured is a medal on your chest. Every tear you've cried in secret is a jewel being set in your crown right now. The golden throne means you're not begging anymore. You're not explaining yourself anymore. You're not defending your right to be here anymore. You walk into rooms differently now. You speak differently now. When you pray, demons flee faster. When you declare something, heaven moves quicker, because you've been tested, and the test is over. And everyone who survives the test gets promoted. Not because you're perfect, not because you never failed, but because you stayed. You didn't quit. You didn't curse God. You didn't walk away. You stayed on that altar, even when the fire felt like it would consume you. And now God says, step off the altar and step up to the throne. Revelation 3:21 says, to him who overcomes I will grant to sit with me on my throne, as I also overcame and sat down with my Father on his throne. Did you catch that? Jesus is inviting overcomers to share his throne, not to sit at his feet, not to stand in the corner, to sit with him. That's not arrogance. That's your covenant right as a blood-bought, battle-tested, fire-refined child of the Most High God. So when you wake up at 3:33 a.m. and your body hurts and your mind races and you wonder why you're still here, know this. Heaven is measuring the dimensions of your throne. The size of your test determines the size of your throne. The length of your weight determines the weight of your authority. And in the next section, I'm going to show you exactly who you become when you sit on that throne, what you can speak, what you can command, what heaven releases through your mouth, even at 60, 70, 80 years old. But right now, I need you to agree with heaven. Say it out loud. Wherever you are, I'm moving from the waiting room to the throne room. Say it again. Louder this time. And if you believe this word is for you, go to the comments right now and write, I'm moving to the throne room. Let heaven see your agreement, because the moment you declare it, the construction accelerates. Your golden throne is being built tonight. Now listen to me, chosen one, because what I'm about to tell you is going to shatter every lie you've believed about yourself for the last 20, 30, maybe 50 years. You've been calling yourself a survivor, and I honor that. I do. You survived the divorce. You survived the bankruptcy. You survived burying people you loved. You survived the diagnosis. You survived being forgotten by your own children. But God didn't bring you through hell just so you could survive. He brought you through hell so you could sit on a throne. And there's a massive difference between surviving and reigning. A survivor is still looking over their shoulder. A survivor is still flinching when the phone rings. A survivor is still whispering, I hope this lasts. But royalty walks different, talks different, prays different. Royalty doesn't beg, royalty decrees. And that's who you're becoming at 3:33 a.m. You need to understand something about how heaven operates. God doesn't hand out thrones to people who haven't been tested. He doesn't give authority to people who haven't been through the fire. Look at Joseph. 17 years old, his brothers throw him in a pit and sell him like livestock. He ends up in Egypt, foreign land, foreign language. Nobody knows his name. He gets lied on, thrown in prison for a crime he didn't commit, forgotten by the very people he helped. 13 years in the pit and the prison, 13 years of testing, and then one day, Pharaoh has a dream. Joseph gets pulled out of that prison cell, interprets the dream, and by sunset, he's wearing Pharaoh's ring, second in command of the most powerful nation on earth. From the pit to the palace in 24 hours. Why? Because the test was over. God said, I can trust him now. He's been humbled. He's been broken. He's been stripped of ego. Now I can put a nation in his hands, and he won't corrupt it. That's you right now. You were the one always picked last, overlooked, underestimated, the one people talked about in whispers, the one who got left out of family gatherings, the one whose name didn't get mentioned when they handed out the promotions or the credit or the inheritance. But heaven just said something about you that's going to make demons tremble. Heaven said, I can trust you now. I can trust you with people. I can trust you with stories. I can trust you with blessings. I can trust you with my glory because you've been to the bottom and you didn't curse me. Do you understand what that means? Your golden throne isn't just some feel-good metaphor. It's a real spiritual position with real authority in the realm of prayer, in your family, in your city. Let me paint you a picture of what this looks like in your actual life. That peace you've been chasing for 30 years, the kind of peace where you can finally sleep through the night without waking up in cold sweats, that's on the throne. That authority in prayer where you speak to sickness in your grandchild's body and it has to listen, that's on the throne. That moment when the same people who ignored your phone calls start asking you for wisdom, for prayer, for your blessing, that's on the throne. The throne is where God takes everything the enemy meant to destroy you and flips it into your greatest weapon. Your pain becomes your pulpit. Your test becomes your testimony. Your scars become your stripes of authority. But here's what I need you to hear, and I need you to hear it deep in your bones. You are not too old to be promoted. I know what you've been thinking. I'm 68. I'm 74. I'm 82. My time has passed. I missed my window. That's a lie straight from the pit of hell. Some of you are just now old enough to be trusted with what God always planned. Moses didn't start his real assignment until he was 80 years old. 80. Leading a nation of millions through a desert with no GPS, no supply chain, no backup plan, just God and a stick. Abraham was 75 when God said, "Now we start." Sarah was 90 when she gave birth to the promise. Anna the prophetess was 84 when she recognized the Messiah in the temple, the moment every prophet had been waiting for. And God gave it to an 84-year-old widow who never stopped praying. God specializes in late-stage promotions because by the time you're 70, you're not trying to impress anybody anymore. You're not chasing fame. You're not building an empire. You've been stripped down to what's real. And that's exactly who God can trust with a throne. So let me tell you who you really are. You're not just somebody who passed a test. You're heaven's graduate. You've got a cap and gown in the spirit realm right now, and angels are applauding. You are spiritual royalty. Not because you're perfect, not because you never fell, but because you got back up every single time hell knocked you down. You carried the presence of God through the valley of the shadow of death, and you didn't let go. And now heaven is saying, that kind of faithfulness deserves a throne. So I'm going to ask you to do something right now that's going to feel uncomfortable, but I need you to do it anyway. I need you to stop calling yourself broken. Stop calling yourself a victim. Stop introducing yourself by your trauma, because that's not your name anymore. Your name is chosen. Your name is royal. Your name is seated in heavenly places. If you're ready to step into that identity, I want you to go to the comments right now and write these 4 words. I am spiritual royalty. Don't just type it, declare it. Say it out loud until your mind believes it, until your body believes it, until the demons that have been whispering you're nothing start running for the exits. Type it now. I am spiritual royalty. Because, beloved, you've graduated from the school of suffering, and now it's time to take your seat. But there's something else you need to know about this throne, something most people miss, something that's going to determine whether you keep it or lose it. And that's what we're going to talk about next. Now listen to me very carefully. What I'm about to ask you to do is not religious ritual. This is not superstition. This is a prophetic act, and the Bible is full of them. When Joshua walked around Jericho 7 times, it looked foolish, but the walls fell. When Naaman dipped in the Jordan River 7 times, it looked pointless, but his skin came back like a child's. When the woman with the issue of blood pressed through the crowd just to touch the hem of Jesus' garment, people thought she was crazy. But she walked away healed after 12 years of suffering. Prophetic acts don't work because they're magic. They work because they're obedience in motion. They work because faith without works is dead. And right now, at 3:33 a.m. in the spirit realm, heaven is waiting for you to walk out of that exam room. So wherever you are right now, whether you're sitting in your kitchen with a cup of coffee going cold, or you're in your bedroom with the lights off, or you're in a hospital bed hooked up to machines, I want you to do this with me. Don't just listen. Participate. Close your eyes for a moment. I want you to picture that exam room in your mind. You know the one I'm talking about. That cold, sterile place where you've been sitting for months, maybe years. The place where they tested your faith, where they tested your body, where they tested your finances, where they tested your family. See it clearly. The hard chair, the fluorescent lights, the clipboard with questions you couldn't answer, the waiting, the wondering, the why me, God? Can you see it? Now I want you to take a deep breath in, fill your lungs, and as you exhale slowly, I want you to say these 4 words out loud. The test is over. Say it again. Louder this time. The test is over. Now place your hand on your heart. Feel it beating. That's the sound of a survivor. That's the rhythm of someone who didn't quit when it got hard. And I want you to say this. Lord, I receive my new season. Say it like you mean it. Lord, I receive my new season. Now hear the voice of the Holy Spirit speaking over your life right now. I break off the lie that your best days are behind you. I break off the lie that you're too old to see a miracle. I break off the lie that you were being punished when you were actually being prepared. I break off the spirit of delay that has kept your breakthrough in the holding pattern. I break off the voice that whispers, "It's too late for you." It is not too late. Job was restored at the end of his life, not the beginning. Abraham had Isaac at 100 years old. Moses didn't even start his assignment until he was 80. Anna, the prophetess, was 84 years old when she saw the Messiah with her own eyes in the temple and became one of the first evangelists of the gospel. God doesn't do things on your timeline. He does them on His. And His timing is always right on time. Some of you right now just felt something lift off your shoulders. You felt it, didn't you? That heaviness you've been carrying for so long, that weight that made it hard to breathe, that pressure that made you want to give up, that was the exam paper being taken off your desk. That was heaven saying, "Time's up, pencils down, you passed." You didn't fail because you cried. You didn't fail because you doubted. You didn't fail because you got tired. You passed because you stayed. You passed because when everyone else would have walked out, you kept sitting in that chair. You passed because you didn't curse God and die like Job's wife told him to do. Hebrews 10:36 says, "You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what He has promised." You persevered, chosen one. And now comes the promise. Now comes the throne. Because here's what most people don't understand about golden thrones. They're not given to people who never got tested. They're given to people who passed the test. Every throne in heaven has an exam room underneath it. David didn't get his throne until after he spent years running from Saul in caves. Joseph didn't get his throne until after the pit, the false accusation, and the prison cell. Esther didn't get her throne until after she was torn from her home and put in a year-long beauty competition she didn't ask for. Your golden throne was always coming. But it couldn't come while you were still in the exam room. The test had to be completed first. And at 3:33 a.m., the proctor walked in and said, "It's finished." So let me ask you something, and I want you to answer this honestly, even if it's just between you and God. Did you feel even a little shift just now? A release, a warmth in your chest, tears that came out of nowhere, a peace you can't explain? That wasn't emotion, that was confirmation. That was the Holy Spirit saying, "This word is for you." If you felt it even just a flicker, I need you to testify in the comments right now. Not for me. For the person who's going to read your comment tomorrow at 3:33 a.m. when they can't sleep, wondering if God still sees them, your testimony is someone else's confirmation. Type, "I felt the shift. The test is over." Because what's about to happen next is going to blow your mind. Now let me tell you something most preachers won't say. You can pass the test in heaven's books and still live like you're failing it in your mind. You can have your name written in gold up there and still walk around down here like you're waiting for permission to breathe. That's the tragedy I see every single day. People who survived the fire, people who made it through the valley, people who didn't quit when everyone said they should, and they're still rehearsing their failures every night before they fall asleep. Still asking, "Why did this happen to me?" Like it's a question God hasn't already answered. Still flinching when someone shows them kindness, because deep down, they don't believe they deserve honor anymore. Let me be real with you, chosen one. If you don't adjust your mindset right now, if you don't start walking like someone whose test is over, you're going to waste the next season God's trying to give you. You'll keep living like a servant when heaven just handed you a throne. The Apostle Paul said it in Romans 8:37, "We are more than conquerors through him who loved us." More than conquerors, not barely surviving, not just getting by, more than conquerors. That means you don't just win the battle, you walk away wearing the enemy's crown. But here's what I need you to understand tonight. Your mind is the battlefield, and if the enemy can't stop your breakthrough, he'll try to convince you it never happened. He'll whisper, "You're too old for this. You're too broken. You've been through too much." And if you listen to that voice long enough, you'll sit on a golden throne, feeling like you don't belong there. So let me give you 3 practical shifts you need to make starting tomorrow morning. First, stop rehearsing old failures in your mind. Every night before bed, you replay the divorce, the bankruptcy, the moment your kids stopped calling, the diagnosis, the betrayal. You rehearse it like it's a script you have to memorize. Stop it. Philippians 3:13 says, "Forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead." Paul didn't say ignore it. He said forget it. That means stop giving it power. Stop letting yesterday control your tomorrow. When that memory comes up, you say out loud, "That was my test. I passed. That chapter is closed." Second, replace the wrong question with the right one. Stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" Start asking, "Lord, what are you building through this?" One question keeps you stuck in the past. The other one opens the door to your future. God didn't waste your pain, beloved. He's been using it to build something in you that couldn't be built any other way. James 1:2-4 says, "Consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." That word produces means something is being built, manufactured, created. Your suffering wasn't random, it was a construction zone. And now the building's done. Third, start expecting honor instead of rejection. I'm not talking about entitlement. I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm talking about healthy dignity. You're a child of the King. You carry his name. You represent his kingdom on earth. When you walk into a room, you don't have to shrink anymore. You don't have to apologize for taking up space. You don't have to beg for scraps when you've been invited to the table. Proverbs 31:25 says, "She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come." Laugh at the days to come. Not worry, not fear. Laugh, because when you know your test is over, the future doesn't scare you anymore. Now let me tell you something critical. Take your body seriously. You're not just getting by till heaven. You're not just waiting to die so you can finally rest. You're a carrier of heaven's authority on earth. That means your health matters, your energy matters, the way you treat this temple matters. Start moving your body even if it's just 10 minutes a day. Eat like someone who believes they have a future. Sleep like someone who trusts God is working while they rest. Because, chosen one, you've got assignments ahead of you, and you're going to need strength for what's coming. But I need to warn you about something. Right before graduation, the tests feel the hardest. Right before the victory, the enemy makes his loudest noise. So don't be surprised if old voices come back. Old fears, old doubts. They might try one more time to convince you that nothing's changed. That's not a setback. That's proof you're close. The enemy doesn't waste ammunition on people who aren't about to break through. And if you do wake up around 3:33 again, and I believe many of you will, I'm going to tell you exactly what to pray in just a few minutes. Stay with me. But right now, if this message is hitting your spirit, I need you to do two things. Hit that like button. Not for me, but so this word reaches someone else who needs to hear it tonight. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Because we're walking this journey together, and I don't want you to miss what's coming next. Your test is over, beloved. Now, let me show you what your throne actually looks like. So here we are, chosen one. You've walked through the fire. You've cried the tears. You've asked God why 1,000 times. And tonight, you finally have your answer. The test wasn't random. It wasn't cruel. It was royal preparation. Every sleepless night at 3:33 a.m. wasn't insomnia. It was heaven pulling you aside, away from the noise, away from the crowd, into the throne room where God does his deepest work. You thought you were being forgotten, but God was actually measuring you for a crown. Now I want to give you something you can use starting tonight. A simple prayer, a 3:33 prayer. When you wake up in those deep hours and you see that clock glowing in the dark, don't panic. Don't reach for your phone. Don't spiral into worry. Just whisper this: Lord, I'm here. If my test is over, show me how to sit on my throne. If I'm still in the test, give me strength to finish well. That's it. 10 seconds, but it changes everything. Because that prayer does two things. It surrenders the outcome to God, and it positions you for promotion. You're not begging anymore. You're not complaining anymore. You're simply saying, God, I trust you. Whatever comes next, I'm ready. Let me walk you back through this journey real quick. You came into this message not understanding your pain. You didn't know why your body hurt so much, why your bank account stayed empty, why your family felt so distant, why the nights felt so long. But then you realized it was a test, a divine test, not punishment, not abandonment, a test. And now, tonight, you're hearing heaven say the words you've been waiting years to hear. The test is over. The throne season begins. Do you feel that shift? Do you feel something breaking off you right now? That heaviness you've been carrying? That's not yours to carry anymore. The Bible says in Psalm 30:5, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Chosen one, your morning is here. Your 3:33 a.m. isn't the middle of the night anymore. It's the beginning of your reign. So right now, before you go anywhere, I want to speak a blessing over you. A royal blessing. Not hype, not empty words, a covering. I bless your mind with peace. No more racing thoughts, no more fear at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Peace that passes understanding will guard your mind. I bless your body with strength. Every ache, every pain, every diagnosis that tried to write you off, I speak resurrection life into your bones. You will live and not die. You will declare the works of the Lord. I bless your home with the presence of God. Every room, every corner. No more loneliness, no more silence that feels like abandonment. The Spirit of the living God will fill your home like glory filled the temple. And I bless your later years to be crowned with glory, not regret. The devil wanted you to finish bitter. God says, you will finish royal. Proverbs 16:31 says, "Gray hair is a crown of glory. It is gained in a righteous life." You didn't just survive, chosen one. You qualified. And now heaven is about to show you what you've been training for all along. At 3:33 a.m., heaven is not ignoring you. Heaven is measuring you for a golden throne. And by faith, by the authority of the Word of God and the finished work of Jesus Christ, I declare over your life right now, you will sit in it. Not someday, not maybe. You will sit in it. Your throne season has begun. Now here's what I need you to do. If this message found you at the right time, if you know in your spirit this wasn't random, I want you to go to the comments right now and type, "The test is over. I'm ready for my throne." Let that be your declaration. Let heaven hear it. Let the enemy hear it. Let you hear it. And then, share this message with someone you know who's been in a long season of testing. Someone who's tired. Someone who's been asking God, how much longer? Send this to them. It might be the word that shifts their entire season. And stay connected with this channel, because there are more messages coming. Messages that will train you how to live as God's royal chosen ones, how to walk in authority, how to steward your throne, how to finish strong. The test is over, beloved. Your golden throne is being prepared. Welcome to the throne season.